I can't understand why he'd say anything like that, and that was all my only answer.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're talking about this because we're allowed to lie, okay?
In the quiet winter darkness of December 12th, 1985, Yvonne Menke, a devoted mother of 4 heading to her early shift, was shot and killed outside her St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin apartment. For nearly 4 decades, the case went cold. Mary Josephine Bailey, an everyday grandmother with no criminal record, was questioned early on and always insisted she had nothing to do with it. She stuck to her story for 39 years, but investigators eventually uncovered a hidden love triangle and a motive of jealousy that made her the prime suspect. This is the interrogation of Mary Josephine Bailey.
No offense to Arizona, and no offense to Steve, he's been great to work with, but we don't, if at all possible, want to come back to Arizona if we don't have to. So thank you for taking the time to be available and just kind of let us check the box and then we'll move on to other stuff, okay? I'm wondering if you can talk to me a little bit about Jack's family, and more specifically, back in like 85, the dynamics of like...
I knew his mom and dad, the sisters weren't around.
Okay.
His mom and dad were both alive at that time, and well, he had been out of work for a long time. He worked at Champion Aircraft, and when they left, he never found another job. I think that was some of his mental issues, and he stayed on the farm, and he thought he was going to inherit the farm. That's what I kind of thought, from what I understood.
Okay.
And then his mom passed away, and no, his dad passed away first. Then his mom, because this was over many years, but and then he found out he wasn't getting the whole farm.
Okay.
And then that's when he married this gal. She had money and whatnot, and went to where his son lives in Montana. Eureka, Montana.
Sure. So now you're the gal, that's Linda, right?
Yeah, the one he's married to. Yeah, or he
yeah.
passed away, I guess, a couple of years ago now,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Somebody said.
Okay. So in 85, is Jack living by himself at the farm, or he's living
No,
with
his parents are
his
there.
parents
Yeah,
are there
his
too.
parents are
Okay. And then the sister is, I think, Nancy and Vivian, right? Did I get those?
And Nancy and Vivian, and then there was one that was, I think, was adopted.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
she had
Yeah.
a little slow mental or whatever, anyway. And she lived, I think, Siren, Danbury or someplace.
Okay. Where did Vivian and Nancy live at the time, if you remember?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I never.
Locally, do you think?
I thought one was maybe in the Twin Cities.
Okay.
Vivian, and then Nancy. She was someplace else.
Okay.
I don't know, Michigan. I can't tell you for sure.
Do you remember, and I always say back then, you know the time frame I'm looking for, the 85 range. Do you remember having a lot of interactions with the sisters? Were they around much?
No.
No. Okay. If you had met them though before.
I had met them, yes.
Okay. Okay. That's the interesting thing about the reports, is just trying to figure out the family dynamics, because Yvonne, of course, is the one we're
concerned about, yes.
We're concerned about, right? She was a cousin. Or
yeah, I think they were
reportedly
related.
a cousin,
Yeah, I think they were related, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, do you remember ever having any conversations with Nancy, or even Jack for that matter, or Vivian, anybody, about Yvonne and Jack's relationship and how the cousin thing was an issue?
No.
Never talked about that, or Jack never talked about that?
No.
Okay. All right. Anything more on that, Mark? We were just talking on the way up, just trying to get the family structure down a little bit better than what the reports laid out. So, back to Yvonne a little bit. And I don't read into this, but our job is to go through the reports and to clarify what some of these investigators meant back then, because some of them aren't around anymore, right?
Yeah.
So we're reading reports that are 30-some years old. The phone call stuff. So yesterday we talked a little bit about that, and there's this phone call between you and Yvonne, and correct me if I'm wrong, in like 1983, where
It could have been.
Could have been.
I have no idea anymore.
and that was the call where you and Yvonne kind of talk about
Well,
Jack.
yeah, we found out what he was doing.
Yeah, yep,
basically.
Yep, right, and you talk about it, and
Yeah.
and then yesterday you mentioned that there was a phone call with Yvonne, or you made to Yvonne, where you're looking for Jack.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the night I was supposed to be out there to ride, and he wasn't there.
Okay. Do you remember if you actually talked to Yvonne, or if that was a...
No, I think I just asked for him.
Okay, so someone did answer the phone.
Yeah, I think it would have been her problem. I mean, I
Okay.
assume. I don't know if some kids were living with her at that time.
Okay.
She had children, I think, and
Yeah,
so I don't know if they were there or not.
okay. And do you remember, was it a long conversation, or was
No,
it...
he said it was raining at his place, so that's why he left. And I said, well, it wasn't raining at my house, so I came out to ride like I was supposed to, and I said, well, that's okay, then after
Sure.
he said it.
Okay. In relation to when Bonnie was killed, which is December 12th, in relation to that, do you remember roughly the time frame of that call? Was it in the fall? Was it in the
Oh,
winter?
it would have been, that could have even been a year before that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There's no
Okay.
year in that. Yeah,
Okay.
it might have been a year. Yeah, because by then that stallion was Kelsey's, let's see, what sold him. And yeah, and then that's when he wasn't, yeah, and I wasn't working with them then anymore. I was working with just my own horses.
Okay. Okay. All right. That helps. That helps. And then, not to beat a dead horse, but I want to clarify a couple things, if you don't mind. After Yvonne gets killed, you mentioned yesterday that Jack was dating some gal. Or maybe not dating.
Well, it
strong
was,
word.
yeah, it was a while after. I mean, it
Okay.
wasn't, that I remember, it was the next summer that I saw this one girl.
Okay.
And I don't know, because I think his dad said something about it, that she was over in Minnesota, but I did see her one time. Tall, thin, dark hair. I have no idea beyond that.
And was she in the horse world too? If you know?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
She had a horse, and I think that's how he met her or something, her dad said.
Okay. And you think that she was living in Minnesota, like Taylor's Falls area, or
Yeah, it could have been anywhere over there,
Yeah.
because I thought I remember his dad saying something. But yeah, I had to go get his truck. His truck quit when he was over there, and I had to pull his truck back.
Okay.
So that's, I remember that now, because that was, but who she was or anything, and she was not in the horse world, the show world that we were in. She was a person that had a horse, I thought, at least, or something.
Okay.
That's all I remember his dad saying.
And just to clarify from what you said yesterday, Yvonne dies in December of '85. I keep using that as a timestamp because that's the easiest thing to remember
Yeah.
back then. After Yvonne dies, you and Jack continue your business relationship, that it's not physical.
Not till next summer, when we actually started showing horses again.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
we still belonged to some of the clubs.
Okay.
So we ran in, or, like that, but we didn't start any riding till, well, summer or whenever, started working horses again. I don't remember that year. This was '85, I can't remember. I had my own horses, I was not working, and I don't remember, I honest to God don't remember. Or if he came to some of the shows that I saw, but I just don't think I was working with him, was sharing transportation at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I just cannot remember for sure which years.
You guys weren't romantically involved?
No.
Okay.
We were still friends and
Yeah.
whatnot, and
Yeah.
yeah, because I think he used to do some shoeing for me, if I remember back there at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And then still, I was keep looking at that horse because I was thinking that was the one I was riding at the time. And he came to some of the big shows to see how all of us were doing. You know, he knew a lot of people.
And do you continue that business relationship with Jack, but you don't get involved with him romantically?
Not romantically, but
Yeah.
for years we still stayed friends.
Yep.
And I do remember the one time when he got sick, he called me, because I was working at my daughter's. Oh my God, that would be years after, maybe even. And I didn't even recognize his voice on the phone. And he said, when you come back, can you stop over and bring me some crutches? And I thought, what in the world? So I went over, and he was really sick. I took him to emergency. And then I didn't hear anything. Then he was in the hospital for a few days, and when I came back, then I stopped, and he was in the hospital, and they said he was tearing out the IV lines. He was tearing out the, what do you call the other lines? Anyway, they said, we can't do anything with him. So I said, well, I can take him back home. I don't know what else, because he was refusing everything. And that's when his sister Nancy came down then, too.
Okay.
But I was doing all the chores out there with the horses and stuff, and we had some neighbors and some other people that I knew, friends of his, to get the hay in that year. Because he was down and out about 3 months. He had something with his blood. I can't remember what it was, but I know I did all the chores and stuff until he got feeling better, and then of course he got feeling better, he got ornery, and I left.
Yeah, right.
That's his personality.
In the timeline of 85 to future, right? Months, weeks, years, aside from the girl in Minnesota that we talked about, anybody else that Jack was dating, if you know, leading up to Linda? I know at some point Linda comes in, right?
Yeah, I don't even remember then because because I met Dave, the guy I married, my second husband, and I had been dating him. That was 89, 88 or 89 when I met him.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The girl you saw that time, tall, slender, dark hair, was that Linda Nissen?
No.
Or are we talking somebody else?
No, that was somebody else.
Okay.
Because Linda didn't live that far away,
Uh-huh.
and this girl I know was in Minnesota because I
Okay.
remember. That's all I can remember about that. And then his dad made the comment he had to pull him home because his car or truck quit or something when he was over there. I said to kind of laugh.
Okay.
And I mean, there could have been lots of others, but I stayed out of his business, and who I dated was not his business.
Yeah, right. And Jim Orr, if I remember right, he left the area in like late 85, early 86, right?
It would have been 86 sometime. I
Yeah.
do not remember.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay. Did he ever come back to the area?
Yeah, a couple different times because he had his farm, but then he had to sell that and whatever, and then wherever he was, I don't remember. It was Iowa, Illinois, some place where he was transferred to or whatever, and that's the last he was back a couple times and we visited, but that's the last I ever saw her.
Okay. So Jim Orr, remember yesterday when I came in, I said we're investigating a tip with Jim Orr. So I'm going to go into that a little bit, okay? So back reading the police reports, there's a lot of talk about a gun.
Oh yeah, because I was trying to sell mine. What did I have at the time now? That was it's the 22 pistol I got yet. And Jim was going to try and sell it for me. He knew people. And so, but he gave me his 22 rifle in case I needed it. And because I had rats coming across my, down the road there's a farm, and then he had a garbage dump, which was right on my fence line. And when it got cold, the rats started coming. So I was shooting the rats before they got in my barn.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he had it.
And that was the rifle.
I had the rifle at that time then. He had my gun, the pistol.
Okay. And you were shooting the rifle at the rats.
Well, I don't know that I ever had to use it. And because some had gotten in the barn one time too, and a skunk I'd have to chase out. But I don't think I ever used it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was there if I needed it,
I see.
but I didn't use it. I never had a reason to use it.
Okay. So the 22 pistol that's referenced in the reports.
Yeah, Jim had it at his
Jim had
place.
that.
Yeah.
And that was originally yours that you gave to Jim. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I have it back.
I gotcha. So
Yeah.
that's the gun that eventually came back to you. Did Jim
Yeah.
give it back to you then? Or did
My
Ron
sister-in-law went and picked up, because they took all my brother's guns, rifles and all. I mean, he did hunting and whatnot. They took all his guns. I think they took anything Jim had. I don't know what else, or who else, actually. But I remember my brothers.
Okay.
What was your brother's name again?
Raymond Knuckles.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 22 gun that you have now and the one that we're talking about is what? Do you remember what kind of it is? It's a Ruger.
This is Smith and Wesson.
Smith and Wesson. Just because there's a lot of guns talked about in the report, so I'm just trying to keep it all straight.
Yeah.
And that's a revolver. Or
It's a pistol revolver,
yeah.
It's I think it's on a bigger frame. It looks bigger than what it is supposed to.
That makes sense. Okay.
And I only carry it. Well, when I was traveling, I had that big living quarters horse trailer. It was a 3-horse, was 14,000 pound. That's the one I was traveling with back and forth. And when I had to sleep at night, I had that on my pillow because I had to sleep in my camper, but I mean, it's in by myself. I could put my horse in a stall, but I had that there just in case.
I see. Okay. So you gave it to Jim. Jim gives you the rifle. Was there some talk about Jim was going to trying to sell the pistol?
Yeah, I said if he could sell it. I said I thought I'd rather have a rifle, just a 22 rifle, and it'd be easier. I just don't. I'm not big on guns anyway. But in my divorce, that's the one I wound up with.
Oh, I see.
So,
Okay.
because I would actually the other 22 rifle we had was supposed to be mine, but he got it, so that's okay. I'll take the other.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So the pistol is the one you wound up with in the divorce.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's old. It's I don't know how long my husband had. I don't even remember. He got it a long time ago.
Right. All right. And the rifle, did law enforcement seize that, or did that get back to Jim's? If you know.
Yeah, yeah, they got it all straightened out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got it all straightened out. Everybody got the ones back. I got my pistol back. He got his rifle back. My brother got all his back.
Right. Do you remember what your conversations were with Jim back then when all this talk about guns being submitted to the police department and...
Yeah, we were kind of wondering why they were taking every size and shape they could get a hold of.
Okay. So you did talk to Jim about some of that stuff?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I would think so, right?
Yeah,
Because
we all talked about it, my brother.
Yeah.
And it's like, what in the world? They're taking everything we got.
Yeah,
Any gun of any size and shape for him.
yeah. Because I think Jim had more guns taken from him, or he submitted. I shouldn't say taken.
Yeah, he submitted them.
Right,
So did my brother.
Yeah.
Because my brother had a lot of guns.
Did that ever make Jim mad? Did he ever talk about it, or he
No, I
just was
figured,
just doing-
what's the purpose? I mean, we know it's none of these, so why not? I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Would be the question.
yeah, right. Okay. And then the last time you talked to Jim, it's been years, right?
Yeah, I haven't had any contact. I often think about some of my old friends, and I'd like to find, and I have found some just to talk to them, see how they're doing and whatnot. But I haven't been able. I don't remember his middle name, and I don't know where he's at. Sometimes you can find them that way. That's how I found some others, friends, and then
Okay.
because one old friend of mine and they had passed away that I didn't even know
Okay.
about. Right?
And
But
so
yeah.
you're not on Facebook or anything, right? That's the
I'm
best
on
way to-
Facebook, yeah.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's the
But
best way to
nothing
find
comes
people.
up on Facebook.
I see.
But there is that different ones you can use to search. If you have the name, you have to have an area. I mean, because there's and that I don't have. Otherwise, if I kind of knew where he was, I might be able to find him.
I got you. Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it costs like $20, but
Sometimes it's worth it, right?
I know. Yeah, because
right.
like I say, it just trying to get in contact with old friends.
Right. Okay.
And the older you get, you think more about your friends that you
Yeah,
have.
no doubt. How about any of the other, like, Linda Larson's name comes up a lot in the reports. Have you
Yeah,
talked
she
to
was
her?
my friend. No, I haven't talked to her in a long time.
Okay.
She kind of got out of the horses herself, because that was her plan. Because we showed together for 40 years, I think it was.
Okay.
And then she kind of went into the paints, and then I got into the Morgans. So we were still friends, but we didn't show together anymore because we were going different ways.
Tell me about Linda. Was she someone that you would always consider to be kind of honorable and truthful, or was she?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Her and her dad was like, my dad passed away when I was 15, and he was like a second dad to me.
Oh, okay. Because I hear, I know the horse world in quotations a little bit, and I know that it's pretty cliquey sometimes.
Well, it's a group of, it's
generally
because
speaking.
it's maybe like anybody else, like if you have friends that just go hunting with you and things like that, and that was our world. And it covered even a 100-mile radius sometimes, because you'd meet at all these shows and you get to see everybody, and so that's when Linda still lived in St. Croix Falls.
Yeah.
And I knew her from, when we first started getting into it, my husband and I, and and we rode together out in the Barrens all the time. She was, I would say, my best friend back then.
Okay, all right. And it's funny because every group, like you said, hunting group or sports group,
Yeah.
everybody has
They're closest
within the
friends,
group, they're close friends, and they all have different personalities.
because you
like-
don't have anything in common with anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're really, really into it, which was, we were up to here in it.
Who else was involved in that group back then, right? Focusing on that timeline. Do you remember?
Oh my gosh, there were so many people. I'd say in our, well, the Shenanders. Let's see, gosh. I can't even remember some of their names anymore now. Because we belonged to like 3 different saddle clubs too. I couldn't remember all the names. But like I say, she was, because we went to Minnesota State Fair together, and Kurt and Yvonne Hoggestone, Bob and, what's Bob's wife's name? They were some of our best friends. We went snowmobiling with them in the winter and things like that too.
Okay.
Besides the horse world summer.
Okay. All right. Sticking with Jim Moore for just a moment. There's a tip that came in that we're trying to put some gravity to, okay? And I come at every interview with the idea that if I'm straightforward, that's the only way I know how to be. I'm not someone that can come into a room and like, hey, shiny coin over here and try to play mind tricks. I'm not that smart.
Well, see, that's what they did to me. Their little mind tricks, and and they said my ex-husband some ridiculous thing. What if he said that? But I didn't take that what if at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, there's no reason he would say anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it dawned, I found out later, they're allowed to lie to you. And turn things around, twist it around. Is that maybe how you put it?
Yeah.
And back then I didn't,
Sure.
I didn't even think about it. I
So,
just said, I can't understand why he'd say anything like that. And that was my only answer.
yeah, and I'm glad we're talking about this because we're allowed to lie, okay?
Oh, yeah,
Now Mark and I have worked this case for a long time, and we just have a similar personality. While I'm allowed to lie, I don't lie.
A lot of it's just kind
Okay.
of twisting things a little.
Yeah, well, some of that
ways.
is like there might be some information we can't tell you, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah, I understand that.
right. So we
Yeah.
like
But
have
I mean,
to tap dance
twisting
around
something to
certain
get
things.
somebody to say something, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I'm going to come at
Yeah.
the other person.
Yeah.
And
So-
I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah. So during our conversation here, while I'm not going to lie in the sense that I'm not going to shy away from straightforward questions
No,
because
that's
my
fine.
job,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, that's the only way you get down to
That's-
figuring this out.
That's
And I wish we could figure it
Yep.
out. I really do.
and that's
It's a
our goal.
sad situation.
That's our goal. So, just so you know from where I'm coming from, if I ask you a question, I'm not playing tricks. If I tell you something, there's some degree of confidence behind it.
Yeah,
Okay?
okay, that's
All right.
fair.
Okay. So Jim Moore, there is a tip that was brought forward that I don't even know a timeline. I'll say shortly after Yvonne was killed. Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Right? That you brought some clothes to Jim Moore's house, and either you burned the clothes at Jim Moore's house or Jim Moore burned them for you. I think the tip is not necessarily that specific. But the tip is from someone who we've interviewed and we've vetted pretty thoroughly. So there's a degree of confidence behind the tip, right?
Yeah. I
Um,
do not remember anything, but
Okay. Did you ever? What would be the reason for someone to come forward to law enforcement and say that all these years later?
I have no idea.
Okay. Did you at any point go to Jim Moore's house and burn any clothes?
No, I never burned any of my car. I mean, I was out there on and off, but I
Yeah.
never did anything like that.
Did you have Jim? Did you ask Jim to burn any clothes for you?
Not that not that I ever remember. I don't
Right.
know that it would have, unless there were some old rags or something like that, that it's something to get rid of. But I can't think of anything.
Just full disclosure, we talked to Jim. Jim lives in California.
Oh,
So we've talked to Jim, and we have an interview with Jim, and we've confronted him on the same thing. And this is where I'm not going to tell you what some of the stuff I can't tell you,
oh yeah.
but I will tell you
understand that.
straightforward that we've talked to Jim
Yeah, okay.
about this very tip. So there's law enforcement has reason to believe that there is some truth to what was told to us. And our goal here at the end of the day, Mary, can I call you Mary or Mary Jo? Do you prefer?
I usually go by Mary Jo.
Mary Jo, okay. So our goal here at the end of the day is this. We want closure. That's what we want, right? The Minky family wants closure. We've talked to the Minky family. The district attorney wants closure. everybody wants closure. It's 37 years, right? That's a lot of time, okay? And I've even had discussions with our DA's office where our DA's office would be like, you know what, if we can get some closure, we have a lot of leeway in terms of how we resolve whatever we resolve, okay? I mean, we've had those conversations with the DA's office, right? Nobody is expecting anybody in this case to say, person A, you're responsible, you're going to prison for the rest of your life. That hasn't been brought up, nor would it be brought up. But we do have a job to try to get that closure, okay? So there is no secret that we're here to talk to you and confront you on some of the things that have come up.
Sure.
Because that's our job, okay? So we have this tip that came in that's been thoroughly vetted, and like I told you, there is some reason to believe from the law enforcement side, there's some confidence behind this tip, that something happened at Jim's house, right? So we wanted to ask you about it because that's how we roll, okay? In addition to, over the years, because we're now in 2023 and we're no longer in 1985, technology has advanced. I mean, anybody who watches Dateline knows that DNA and fingerprint and touch and trace evidence and fiber evidence is different now than what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Genealogy, all that stuff. When we took over the case, Mark and I focused on that probably more than anything, because that's just the new technology. There's some forensic technology that has also aided our case, okay? And it suggests, with a reasonable degree of certainty, that the boot prints in the snow that were found that morning, remember we talked about the Arctic Cat boots?
Yep.
Do you remember the Arctic Cat boots?
I had many pairs of boots.
But the boots that you turned over, do you remember turning those boots over to law enforcement?
I don't remember specifically, no.
Okay, all right.
Because I had probably 3 or 4 pairs of boots.
Okay. So those boots were submitted to the crime lab. And now with technology being what it is, there's a reasonable degree of certainty that those boots match the boots left in the
Size print or something like that?
Yeah. So, obviously from an investigator standpoint, that leads us to ask you, if you were at the crime scene, what's the other logical explanation as to why your boot print is in the snow next to the body? Maybe there is another
Yeah, I
explanation.
was going to
and
say,
what would that
could it
be?
have been somebody that had another boot similar to that? Size-wise? I mean, or
Well,
whatever. I don't
so-
remember what the
Yeah, so
prints are or anything. I mean, I don't know what they are, what they
Sure.
look like.
So what they did is they took your boots and then they matched it to a sulfur cast of the print. So they not only look at the size, but they look at the wear pattern, the tread pattern. I mean, a lot of individual characteristics about shoes or boots. Like if I take my shoes out, you know, the bottom of my shoe is going to tell a lot of things. It's going to tell wear pattern. It's going to tell most likely at least a general manufacturing date. You know, because shoes change, right? The manufacturer changes the brand every years. So then, through that information, the lab is able to make an opinion, and then we go to Articat, and Articat says, oh yeah, that specific boot is this model, and during this time frame, they only sold these amount to the general population, and this specific size is, the chances are, you know, X amount that this specific boot was sold in this region. You know what I mean? Like you start to do kind of the statistical analysis, the probability that this boot is the same boot that left the print is pretty freaking high.
Was the print right there at her place?
Right there, right by the body, and then there was another print that was found down the alleyway, and that is in the same location that we have at least one eyewitness who saw the suspect.
Oh.
That has a very, very consistent physical description of you.
Well, I know they took my long gray coat,
Yeah,
and I seem to think that's what that person had on.
right. So, right now we're operating on the very strong belief that your boots, the boots that were found in your house, are the same boots that were found next to the body. So, remember,
I'm saying, I guess
how
they're
did that
not.
happen?
They're not.
Okay. Would there be any other explanation as to how that would happen?
I don't know. It could be somebody else had boots like them. I don't know. They weren't mine. I mean, I was not there, those prints. And I don't, like I say, I don't remember. And they took my long gray coat, so I assume that's what they were looking for, somebody with a long gray coat. And they never gave it back to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Okay.
That's what they took for a coat. That's the coats I have.
Okay. Well, there's some other DNA evidence that is out there that we're probably going to keep pretty tight to the vest.
Oh,
just
yeah.
because that's our case, right? So Mark and I came with the goal of talking to you and from an adult to an adult addressing some of these concerns, okay? One of the best ways that we go about our investigation, because this isn't the first case we work other cases.
Oh, yeah.
You know? One of the best things we do to try to eliminate or support whether or not someone was involved or they weren't involved is we ask them to take a polygraph. Is that something that you would be open to?
I was told before never to do that.
Okay.
And that's why I didn't before either.
Okay. How about now? Is there any? Do you have any thoughts on that? We have an FBI guy who that's literally all he does. He travels everywhere to do the polygraphs. He's actually in town.
I don't feel, like I say, because I was told before not to.
Okay.
And by the attorney I had at that time.
Okay. All right.
So I guess I have to
You understand why we're asking,
I
right?
understand
Because
why
when
you're asking.
when it comes to eliminating or supporting or excluding people,
But the polygraph isn't always accurate. That's the thing.
I'm not a polygraph examiner,
I know, that's
so
what I've been
so I
told,
can't.
and I've heard of instances, and that's where it makes me leery.
Sure. I'm not a polygraph examiner, so I can't really say much about that. I don't know what the statistics are. I can just tell you, in my experience, it's been a really good tool that law enforcement uses to steer in different directions, right? Like
I used to years ago, but like I said, then after, and my attorney at that time telling me
Sure.
it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
You know,
And they said it's-
usually when someone passes a poly, the way that helps us is we can just eliminate somebody and move on to something else so that we're not chasing our
Oh, I
tail.
understand that. I
Yeah.
understand that.
And the thing about polys that maybe sometimes gets lost in the mix, at least in Wisconsin, I don't know what it's like in Arizona. Polygraphs, the actual exam itself is not admissible in court. Can't use it in court.
Yeah, that's right. I
Yep,
understand saying
right.
that.
So, obviously I'm coming at it from one side, right? I'm coming at it from a bias angle, but there's kind of really nothing to lose by taking it, right? It's not admissible in court, no matter what. The benefit is for someone who passes a polygraph, then that examiner comes to the investigator or investigators and says, yeah, she was being truthful.
Well,
You
the
probably-
thing
you
is, I've
probably
heard
are
of that
sniffing up
though,
the
that
wrong
people
tree.
can pass them, so they, I mean, that's, I've heard that way too, that they can pass them. So that doesn't eliminate you either.
It doesn't, but there's a level of confidence that goes along with the polygraphs that are currently being run in 2023 with the technology and also the examiner. I just know the examiner that I work with. The
Oh, yeah.
examiner that I work with is freaking awesome. So I put a lot of confidence in them. But it's just one of the tools that we use. So if you're not comfortable with it, that's fine. That's totally your choice. Obviously, there's no, you have to do it or you don't have to do it. But it's just one of our tools. So I'm going to
Yeah,
offer
well, I
it because we
understand
have a
that,
guy
yes.
that's ready if you're willing to do it.
No, I don't feel comfortable
Okay,
with it.
okay.
And like I said, being my attorney said I shouldn't
Okay.
before, the one my attorney
Okay.
had.
One of the other things we wanted to do would be, would you submit to giving us your DNA? Because when we look back at the case file, in '85, DNA technology wasn't what it is now, although there's some different things that are in motion that I can't elaborate on. But we don't have your DNA in a sense where someone has collected a buccal swab from you, which is what we would ask to do today. So that would be another part of our investigative process. Would you submit to us collecting?
I'd have to talk to an attorney first before because I don't know enough about this stuff. I would have
Okay.
to actually talk to an attorney,
Okay.
I think.
Okay. What is it that concerns you about that?
I don't know, it's just I don't feel comfortable.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain that.
Because you can understand from my standpoint, certainly no disrespect, but I mean, I've been doing this for 17 years and I've handled a lot of cases.
Well,
Maybe
wouldn't they
not
have gotten
exactly
DNA
here,
out of all that stuff that they took from me?
but I can't confirm or deny that they haven't.
Yeah, because there would be DNA all over that.
We have certain ways that we go about our job, right? And certain requests that are sometimes made by crime labs and such, that's just a part of our process to be thorough. So
Oh, yeah,
you certainly wouldn't be the first person that I've ever asked for a DNA sample, and you won't be the last. You know, DNA is just that's just kind of 2023 law enforcement these days, right? My discussion with most people is like, well, if you didn't have anything to do with it, you weren't there, then that would be a way for you to exclude yourself as opposed to include yourself, right? Just like the polygraph. So the benefit for you, of course,
Okay, then my thing was like my DNA's on those boots. You got it there.
I can't get into the.
But I mean, you've already got it. To me, you've already got it.
I can't get into the science part of it.
Yeah,
but remember when I tell you that I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh no, I know,
So
I know. But I mean, that's what I'm thinking. You've got it already. That goes with my boots, right?
Yeah,
and if they're proved that they're there.
Well, your understanding of DNA is probably based on Dateline NBC, and it's different in real life than it is on the movies.
It's on all your clothes and everything.
Can't get into that.
Yeah.
Trust me, DNA is just different than probably what the average person believes is true, right? There's some fact and fiction that comes along with DNA. So there's a reason why we're asking, and there's a reason why I would ask anybody in your shoes that may or may not be a person of interest. Let's be honest, you're a person of interest, right?
Yeah.
Right? Anybody who had any type of relationship and or close connection and or connection, 3 layers of possibilities to Yvonne at the time, which there really aren't a lot of people when you break it all down. You're a person of interest, just like other people who are on that same list, right? So we're just doing our due diligence to either include or exclude those individuals. And because of the presence of DNA investigative leads that we're pursuing, obtaining your DNA sample would be beneficial to the case, right? Either to include or exclude.
Yeah, as I say, I want to talk to an attorney
Okay.
and feel safe with whatever they say.
Okay. Because we weren't sure what you're going to say yes or no on that. I mean, we just don't know. We do have a warrant that Steve has, and that's what the designed to do is get a warrant in for your DNA. Because we weren't sure if you would say yes or no. We just have to have that in our back pocket, right? Because I don't want to fly back out to Arizona. So we do have a warrant to get your DNA. I'll let Steve explain the process. It's pretty easy going process. Yeah, it's not like anything like you have to get to a hospital or anything like that. But just so you know, because I'm a straight shooter, I told you I'd be a straight shooter. We do have that, and we'll have to at some point collect that. Okay?
Yeah, like I say, I will have to get an attorney then to talk to them about it.
Okay, about the DNA?
Well, I
Or about
imagine,
just-
yes, I
about
imagine I should to be on the safe side for
Okay.
myself.
Are you okay to continue to have a conversation, or you just want to consult with the attorney about
I'd
the
have to
DNA?
consult them about it and see what they say.
Okay, so can I continue to talk to you about my interview, or do you want to consult with an attorney before you continue?
I don't know, is there much left?
Yeah, I have a couple things left, but I don't want to misunderstand what you're saying either. So
Yeah, like I say, I don't know enough about it either. I want to be sure that it's okay, or that they say it's okay, or not, or what, or I'm not.
how about this? Just to make sure that I understand what you're telling me, because I am not into violating people's rights. That's not what I do. I want to continue to talk to you about this case. Are you okay continuing to talk to me without an attorney present, or do you wish to consult with one?
I don't know, but this is the point where I need to do that.
I can't give you any legal
Yeah,
advice, so I just kind of need a yes or no because for your benefit, I don't want to violate anything. I don't want to be misconstrued as someone who is dirty or anything like that. So I'm going to need you to kind of give me some direction on that. I have no problem continuing to talk to you.
Well,
but I
let's just
need
finish, continue talking and see what you've got there,
Okay,
and we can do that.
okay. So you're okay talking without an attorney at this
Yeah,
point?
at this point,
Okay.
we'll just.
You understand at any point you can say timeout?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Okay, alright. So we talked about the DNA. And really, from a question standpoint, I don't have a whole lot more. I just kind of want to give you my sense of things, if you're willing to listen, okay? And unless, Mark, do you have any questions?
I think we're covering just about everything that we talked about.
Okay. So, keeping in mind that I try to be a straight shooter as best I can. And also keeping in mind that I'm just doing a job and none of this, I don't go about my job trying to be disrespectful, ever. I'm just a straight
No,
shooter.
you haven't been.
That's what so please keep that in mind, okay, with what I'm about to say, okay? There's a lot going on in this case, and we've uncovered a lot in this case, okay? 37 years is a long time, and on one hand, that hinders a case. When you take it over because of the timeline, people's memories fade, people die. But on the other hand, technology gets better, okay, than it was back in '85. And some people actually come forward and say, you know what, I didn't tell you this back then because I was scared, because I knew the people involved, whatever. I mean, insert whatever excuse, the reason why they didn't tell us back then. Well, now they've come forward with some information that they didn't come with back then. All of those things that are going on, remember I've talked to Jim Warner, or
Yeah.
we've talked to Jim Warner, right? Statements that have come forward that we've since learned, since we opened up this case. The DNA technology, all of that stuff. The district attorney's office is ready to file charges against you for homicide, okay? Remember what I said earlier. I have talked to the Minky family, and I have talked to the DA. We absolutely do not have any desire to slam our fist on the table and say, we want her to go to prison for the rest of her life. As a matter of fact, prison, for all I know, isn't even on the table. I don't know, that's not my deal. I'm not an attorney. I'm an investigator. I can just tell you what the conversations are. Our number one goal is that we want closure. That's it. 37 years of living with this. Not only the family, but you and everybody involved. I can't imagine the gravity that you and others have on your shoulders all of this time. It's got to be insane, and I know that because I've handled other cases similar to this. At the end of the day, closure is closure. So our proposal to the DA's office is to kind of almost give you a couple options, and I want you to think about it. You don't have to answer, just giving it to you, okay? Option number one is get a hold of an attorney. Talk to the attorney. Have your attorney contact our DA. And then some back channel stuff happens, whatever attorneys do. And the case goes the way the case goes. And that could be some sort of a global resolution on probation. I don't know. That's not my deal. I'm not a lawyer. My point is, you know, if this was a different scenario and someone was being charged with homicide, the marshal service would be coming, people would be put in a van, brought to a jail, waiting extradition, going from jail to jail to jail until you get back to Wisconsin, probably given high bond, and you never know, you might never see the light of day again, right? This isn't one of those scenarios. We're not proposing any of that, okay? We're proposing resolution and we're proposing closure. That's what we're proposing. Now, with that being said, if option A doesn't work, and if option A doesn't happen, for whatever reason, and the only option we have left is option B, which is what I just described, that might happen too. But I want you to know that that's not our goal. Our goal is option A. Our goal is to get this resolved as quietly and as maybe as quietly as possible. I'll just stick with quietly, okay? So that closure at the end of the day occurs. for everybody involved. You've lived a great life. Nobody is denying that. You talked about your grandkids. I've done enough research to know that you're not public enemy number one. It's not like you're out there causing any problems, okay? That goes a long way, right? That goes a long way. If people made a mistake at one point in their life, that's a mistake. Can't go back on it. Wish we could. It is what it is. But there's a big difference between someone who makes one mistake in life and someone who makes a mistake and then the next week they make another and the next week they make another and then they continue down that road. Well, that's not you. We're 37 years later, you have a home in Arizona, you have another home in Wisconsin. Sounds like you have a great family network. You're certainly not in that public enemy number one pool. You know what I'm saying? So that's my spiel. Our spiel is that's what we're looking for. And I can't elaborate more on the evidence, only to tell you, face to face, eye to eye, we have more evidence than what we had in 1985. And to the point where the district attorney's office is ready to charge.
Okay.
And that's a pretty high burden, you know? So we want to find a way to get this resolved. Okay?
Yeah.
All right? Certainly you can elaborate if you want, or tell me what you're thinking. I'm
I
here
still
to-
think I need to talk some legal advice. I don't know.
Sure.
I
Sure. I
don't
get that.
feel competent either way
Yeah, I get
till
that.
I know. I just really need to know.
Yeah, yep, absolutely, absolutely, and that is definitely, you're right. Mark, I don't know if you know Mark much, but Mark is a former DA and defense attorney.
That's kind of what I bring to the table in this partnership.
Yeah, that's why we brought, not why, one of the many reasons why we brought Mark involved, other than he's handsome and intelligent. But Mark brings the legal aspect of it, right? And he knows way more about what I just talked to you about.
Oh,
than
yeah,
I do.
I'm sure he does.
So Mark, if you want, if I didn't
Just-
effectively,
Yeah, let me just ask you this, Mary Jo. Now, we don't know for sure what the DA is going to do, but we do know that he's close and he's made some representations to us that he's ready to go on this thing. Now, when a DA files a criminal complaint, there are two ways that DA can go. He can file a complaint on a warrant, which means somebody gets arrested, they're brought to the courthouse, or he can file it on a summons, which is basically, here's the criminal complaint, and here's when you need to be in court to answer to it. Assuming that the DA does charge you, we'd like to be able to advise him on which way to go. If he does charge you, are you willing to come back to Wisconsin and appear in court on the charges, or does the DA need to file a warrant?
Yeah, I've got so many doctor appointments that, I don't, because would you have to come back for a certain amount of time or right now,
Basically, it's coming back for a first hearing, bond gets set, we have
do
some...
I need my attorney with me at that point, are you saying then? Or?
It's, again, I'm not the guy who can give you advice on that because I'm not
I was wondering, because I have an important one I gotta go to because I have some internal bleeding.
Yeah. Generally, it's best that people are represented by counsel sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because that's, I was gonna say, I've got this internal bleeding going on right now. I need to get this next appointment next week and find out what's going on too, so, I suppose I gotta start finding an attorney first place.
Yeah.
And then go from there is about all I can do.
Okay.
And then if we can work it around my doctor appointments, because I'm kind of scared of this colon cancer, so, I'm not, I would like to get that checked out, see where
Sure.
I'm at there.
yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah.
In the correct me if I'm wrong, Mark's the lawyer here. The more cooperative you are, meaning the more all of us move forward with the goal of resolution and closure, right? That's, again, I can't emphasize that enough. That's the biggest thing. If I didn't care about that, Steve would be here in a different capacity, right? That's the biggest goal. So if we, I think, as a state, as the DA's office, is open to that idea, and you continue to present that same idea, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot more leeway when it comes to like bond arguments. When it comes to bond, we have the ability to talk to the DA and give our suggestion and
Yeah,
be
just
the
in this
sides.
process that I can get to my appointments.
Yeah.
In case this is something serious on this.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I explained that the best. Try to tap dance. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm trying to tap dance around lawyer stuff.
I think so. I think you know
Just-
the DA's options.
Yeah, I just got, is it possible then to keep my appointments? That's what I'm more concerned about as a possibility in this too.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. Get an attorney. You can't really do anything until you get an attorney.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
want some advice.
Yeah.
I want some
And
advice.
then give an attorney. I'm going to give you, before we break company today, I'm going to give you my card. And then I'm going to include the DA's number on the back. So have your attorney reach out to our attorney.
Okay.
Okay?
That would be
And
the best way.
then they can, I don't know what they're going to say, but then lawyers talk to lawyers. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay? Yeah, maybe that's the best way to start.
Sure.
Okay? Is there anything
That'll get the ball rolling.
anything that is left on the table here that you want to talk about? Anything?
No, the best is to let them settle it
Yeah,
somehow,
I
and
agree.
just so I could hopefully keep my appointments with my doctors and stuff.
Yep, I agree. Okay. How do you want to handle the phase 2 here?
So, Mary Jo, I have a order to obtain physical evidence, which we're going to be taking a swab. It's like a big Q-tip that rub on the cheek of your mouth. We're going to take a set of your fingerprints, and then we're going to take some pictures of you, just overall pictures of how you are.
Don't I have to ask my lawyer first, or is this no
Well,
choice in, or he?
Well, this you don't have a choice on. You're going to go with me. But you're coming right back as soon as we're done.
Sure. This is already gone in front of a judge.
Yeah, this,
so-
and this is your copy. I'm going to give it to you. I'm just explaining it real quick to you, okay? So, well, and if you have an attorney that you want to call right now,
I don't know of any, I don't know if I
That's-
need one here, or if I need one in Wisconsin.
well, I can tell you, I'm not going to ask you any questions about what these gentlemen are talking to you
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
I'm only here to obtain those 3 things so that I can provide it to them so that they can take it back for testing.
I don't need to-
and stuff.
Consult my lawyer if this is all okay first or not. till
Yeah,
I
I
know.
I can tell you, and I'm sure Mark can back this up. This is signed by a judge. Even if you were to call an attorney, he's going to say, "Go with him and do what he tell you to do."
Oh, okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
concerned, is this.
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with if I was going to question you or something like that. That'd be completely different. But I'm not going to ask you any questions about anything. All we're going to do is I have to drive you down to the sheriff's station in Mesa. Do you know where the courthouse is?
No.
On Javelina and Mesa Drive. Do you know where Mesa Drive's at? It's about 14 miles away.
I'm not familiar with that area.
Okay.
at all.
Yeah, it's about
I'm
four-
sticking this
It's
in.
about 14 miles away. We'll go in. We'll have one of our lab techs take a complete set of your fingerprints, take a swab, take a couple pictures of you, put you back in the car, drive right back out here, get you home. Okay. This is going to be your copy. Mind if I put my stuff in here?
Well,
So this is going to be your copy to keep, and you can read through it. And then the judge's signature is on the back, Maricopa County Superior Court. Okay? So like I said, that's going to be your copy to keep,
okay.
so you can provide that to your attorney as well. Okay?
Okay.
And then, like I said, we're going to go ahead and hop in my truck, and I believe Adam's going to go with us. He's going to drive out there with us. When we get there, I'm going to call the lab right now so I can get an ID tech started to meet us there, so I can get it done as quickly as I can for you, because I don't want to hold up anything that you've got going on as much as possible. I just
No,
want to
it's
get it. I just want to get it done and get you back out here.
I'm just concerned if I need to call an attorney right away.
If you have
I
an
mean,
attorney,
I
that you
don't
want
have
to
one, I
call,
have to find one. But I mean, that was my only concern, is this something I need to do right away?
Mary Josephine Bailey was charged with first-degree intentional homicide. On May 30th, 2024, a jury convicted her after less than 3 hours of deliberation. On July 2nd, 2024, she was sentenced to life in prison. Under the laws in effect in 1985, she will be eligible for parole after serving approximately 20 years. She is currently serving her sentence in the Wisconsin prison system.